Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. We're going to do a gear review today. This is a KxK 6-string single cut. So first of all, let's go over the specs of this instrument. So what we're looking at right here, this KxK 6SC, it's got a neck-thru body construction with a mahogany neck and mahogany body wings. We've got a Birdseye Maple fretboard that is very, very beautifully figured. And these black sections right here are ebony wood inlays, which is a very, very cool aesthetic touch. I really dig that a lot. The finish, I love this just kind of repulsive slime green finish. It's awesome. It commands attention. I'm a big fan of bold colors on instruments, you know, from the Laguna blue that's on my Dingwall to the Dutch orange that's on my Aristides. This ridiculous slime green is just awesome. I love it. The pickups are scatter wound Alnico V pickups that are made by KxK, so they are a proprietary design. What's cool is that KxK hand winds the pickups to suit the customer's needs. We've got a Schaller Hans bridge, which this is my first experience with that bridge, so I'm very excited to be playing this guitar and begin to check out this bridge unit. And also USA-made Sperzel locking tuners, which are on the headstock here. So this guitar definitely has some nice appointments to it, some nice features, but how does it play, you might be asking? Well, to be perfectly frank, it plays really, really, really fucking awesome. The neck profile is a lot thinner than you're used to seeing on a single cut guitar. Typically, this kind of Les Paul-ish look to an instrument usually lends itself to, or lends one to think like, oh, well, it's probably going to have a really super thick C-profile neck. Not the case here at all. This is a very nice, thin D-profile neck, very reminiscent of something you might see on like an old Jackson Dinky, or probably a little bit more accurately, maybe an old Ibanez RG. It plays super comfy. It's not something that takes a while to get acclimated to at all. It's nice and smooth on the back of the finish too. As you saw, it does have kind of a raw wood finish going for it. Something super awesome about the finish too is that in addition to the raw wood finish on the back of the neck, you've got some really awesome paint masking going on from this awesome gloss green of the body, and then there's just a little bit of clear coat that kind of goes over, like maybe about 1/8 of an inch further onto the body, and it's just a nice, clean, nice, smooth line right there. It's noticeable, like if you touch it, there is a raised edge there, but at the same time, is it anything that would hinder playing? Quite the contrary. Like as you're playing, even when you're soloing up here, or even when you're down here on the lower part of the nut of the neck, close to the nut, it doesn't even factor in at all. It's just nice and super comfy, and there's no hindrance whatsoever from the way that paint is masked. It's just a nice touch. As for the body shape itself, normally when you see kind of a less polished single cut body, you know, it tends to be something that's just super comfortable. The arch top is really, really nice to rest your wrist on when you're picking. What's interesting about this particular body, though, is that it does have a little bit of a carved top to it, but when you get a little bit further down, like about right here towards the end of the guitar, it's strictly a flat top. This carve is gone from like here on forward, and it's more similar in that respect to something like a Les Paul Jr. Kind of different. I wouldn't say it's a positive or a negative, just kind of unique. Speaking of the playability, what's also really cool is this Schaller Hans bridge. I'm not really hearing how it contributes so much as far as to the resonance. Looking at how it's constructed, how it's bolted to the guitar right here, you would think that lends itself to a lot of sustain and a lot of resonance, but I'm not really necessarily picking up on that vibe so much. That being said, it's definitely something where you are hearing a lot of string separation and a lot of note separation, and that always does have something to do with the bridge, if not everything on some guitars. So, but the bridge itself, it feels like it's a nice, sturdy design. It's definitely super comfy. Probably one of the most comfortable bridges I've ever played. Another cool touch that I like as far as the playability goes is the fretwork. The fretwork on this thing is rather exceptional. There's like one fret up here where it's just ever so slightly rough to the touch. But would I say it's a hindrance? Not at all. The only way I even noticed it was because, not from the playing, but because I was literally like desperately looking for anything to call out on this instrument. Like, dear God, let me find some flaw, some negative that I can point out, and one teeny tiny little fret end is pretty much the only thing I was able to find. So what does that tell you about the quality of this guitar? But the fretwork is fantastic. It's 24 stainless steel 6105 frets from Jim Dunlop. I love stainless steel frets because you don't get a lot of the friction issues that you get from regular old nickel frets. You know, typically with nickel frets, the longer that you play them, you start to get this kind of friction effect where it's kind of fighting you back a little bit when you're doing vibratos or when you're doing bends. Stainless steel, you just don't get that. That's something that I like. The durability, yeah, the durability is awesome, but that's one of those things where the feel is what really does it for me. So, great choice on the frets. Fantastic fretwork, like I said. The crowning's good. Yeah, playability-wise, this guitar is just absolutely sick. As far as how the guitar sounds, I mean, you heard the song at the beginning of the video. That was recorded strictly using this instrument. I definitely am digging the Alnico V pickups. My personal taste in what I look for in pickups, I think the bridge pickup is just lacking a little bit of the balls that I typically like from a bridge humbucker. I still think it sounds cool. It definitely sounds usable, but it sounds usable in the same way that you pick up a guitar that's got a DiMarzio Evolution or a Seymour Duncan JB. It's kind of an in-betweeny kind of tone compared to those ones. It's not something that has a super huge amount of chunk like a Duncan Alternative 8, which is my go-to, or even like some of the Guitar Murray stuff that I've seen. It's but it is still a nice usable pickup though. But as far as awesomeness goes, the neck pickup on this guitar is really where it's at. I love the tone of this thing. Just normally you see guitars that have 24 frets, and the neck pickup on those guitars always tends to lose just a little bit of that kind of vintage vibe. The further away that you move it from the neck or from that 22nd fret sweet spot, it tends to brighten up a little bit, which is not something I really like in a neck pickup. I like kind of that more modern vintage vibe. And this neck pickup has that modern vintage vibe in spades. It's loud, it's punchy for a neck pickup, which is very cool, but the mid-range is not overpowering it at all. It's just a nice, very smooth and very fluid tone to it. It's perfect when you're doing legato runs, and it's also really nice when you're doing speed picking or tapping runs, or even sweeps for that matter. It sounds awesome on sweeps. So, I mean, there you have it with this thing. I mean, it really is a masterfully built guitar. I feel very fortunate that I finally got to play a KxK after all these years. This thing, it's just super nice. It's super pretty to look at, but even like throwing looks out of the equation, this thing plays like a dream. It really does. I've heard about how much these typically run brand new, and I could definitely see myself paying that much for one of these. Really, honestly. I mean, like I said, when I first picked this thing up, I was literally looking like there's got to be some flaw, there's got to be something I can call out, and I mean, I'm just loving it. There's so much awesomeness about this guitar, and the one thing that I found that was a little bit of an issue is just the end of this little fret right here was just slightly rough. That's it. Everything else on this guitar is an overwhelming positive. I definitely would say that this is worth checking out. So definitely check out KxK guitars. They're a fantastic brand, made in the USA. Very proud of that made in the USA thing from what I've seen on their website. If you go on their website, there's some cool eye candy that you can take a look at there. They're not currently taking orders, but it's definitely one of those brands that I would just kind of keep an eye on. They've got a great pedigree. I mean, many of you guys have probably seen them in the hands of the likes of K.K. Downing from Judas Priest and Carl Sanders from Nile. But besides that, I mean, don't take the pedigree into too much account. Take into account the fact that the guitar is just really masterfully built. That's what's really important, and that's why I'm saying this is a winner. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about the guitar, the video, how I present myself, how I conduct my reviews, anything like that, please leave a comment in the section below. Otherwise, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be putting out a lot more stuff, a lot more frequently. So yeah, I just really want to bring you guys some really awesome review videos and playthrough videos. If you've got any suggestions, bounce them my way. Otherwise, yeah, I hope to hear from you guys, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you so much.